Hey everybody, Mr. Odom here, and I'm going to take a look at a couple problems from section 2.1. And so here we go. You need a pencil, composition book, or notebook paper, and you will need a calculator for this one. We're going to work these problems out on our calculator. Um, so you'll need one. If you don't have one, you'll have to do some long division by hand, which is fine. So the learning target for this video is at the end, hopefully you can say, I can write rational numbers as decimals. So I got 4 problems here. Let's take a look at number 11. So it says write the rational number as a decimal. So what do I do? So here's what you do. In your calculator, you're going to take 7 divided by 8, and you'll get a decimal. And when you put that in your calculator, you will just get this decimal 0.875. That's it. So now I've taken this rational number and I have written it as a decimal. That's all you have to do. Okay, pretty easy. Let's take a look at number 14. For this one, I'm going to keep that negative sign. I'm going to call this negative 17, and I'm going to divide it by 40. And we learned when we were dividing integers that if I have different signs, my answer will be negative. So I put that in my calculator, and I end up with negative 0.425 or negative 0 and 425 thousandths. All right, let's take a look at number 16. 2 ways we can do this. One, let me write it down. Negative 2 and 17/18. So here's one way we can look at this. All we have to do is first write that negative 2 down. So this is a mixed number. You take the whole part of the mixed number, and you just write it down, put a decimal. And then in your calculator, you're going to take 17 and divide it by 18. And when you do that, you'll see that 17 divided by 18, I'll just write this down, 17 divided by 18 is 0.94, and then the 4 repeats. Okay, and then you just take this decimal part right here and you put it up here. So negative 2 and 17/18 is the same as negative 2.94 repeating. Okay, so that's number 16. Let's take a look at number 18. Number 18, I'll work it out down here. Again, I'll do this one 2 ways. Let me write this down. 8 and 15/22. That is going to be 8 point, and I could take 15 divided by 22, and when I do that, 15 divided by 22 equals 0.681 repeating. The 81 repeats. And then all I do is take that part of the decimal and I move it up here. And that gives me 8.681 repeating. Okay. So I told you I'd show you 2 different ways to work out problems 16 and 17, or I'm sorry, 16 and 18. So here is another way that you could work out problem 16. And that is I could take negative 2 and 17/18, and I can write that as an improper fraction, which means I take 18, multiply it by 2, or negative 2, or just multiply it by 2. This is going to be negative. And then I add 17 to that. So 18 times 2 is 36. 36 plus 17 is 53. I keep that negative sign there. So this is negative 53/18. Okay, some of you may like to work out these problems this way, and that's either way is fine. So then in my calculator, you go ahead and you take 53 divided by 18 because I know my answer is still going to be negative. Then when you do that, 53 divided by 18, I get 2.94 repeating, and I just have this negative sign here that I had from the very beginning, so I keep it. I can do the same thing with this problem. Okay, 8 and 15 20-seconds. I could turn that into an improper fraction. I take 22 times 8, and then I get an answer, and I add 15 to it. So when I do that in my calculator, I end up with 191 over 22. And then you go ahead and you, in your calculator, take 191, you divide it by 22, and guess what you get? 8.681 repeating. So you end up getting the same answer. So two different ways to solve the problem, and it doesn't matter which one you choose, which one you like, and then just do them that way. All right, so this was one way to solve the problem, and here's a second way. That was one way, and here's a second way to solve this one. So there you go. Hopefully that was helpful. If you had any questions, bring them to class and ask me. This is Mr. Odom, and I'm out.